What's up, sim racers? Larry, TJR Sim. So, to be fast or not to be fast, that is the question. How do you get fast? Simple answer: practice. Practice. Now, I did a video about setups, several of them, getting a good setup for, like GT3 class, different cars and stuff, and how to kind of recognize that. Also did one of, just posted about how to copy other people's setups, but that's not everything. A setup is just a very small part of the equation, and really setups really only matter once you understand your vehicle. And you got to learn where your vehicle's weak points are, and as well as where the strengths are. So practice. That's what makes it all happen. Now, I'm using this little Formula A car here. It's because it's slow and easier to talk and drive when it's slower vehicle. But when I was doing some, and let me first touch on, don't worry about if you don't set the AI on 120%, the max, and you can't beat them. Even the world records, I was looking at some of the world records, and those guys aren't running as fast as the lap time as the AI at 120%. So AI at 100% is pretty doable. I haven't really tried 110 or anything because didn't find it necessary. It's doable at 100%. You may have to extend your race. Obviously, instead of maybe a 10-minute race, you do like a 15-minute race, depending on where you placed. Project Cars 2 does have a little bit of a wonky, like I've a wonky system. Like I've qualified in maybe 6th, 7th place, and then I'm able to get up to the front of the pack pretty dang easy, which is kind of indicative of real racing too. You may qualify bad, but once it comes to the heat of the battle, you're better at navigating traffic than someone that has just a clear track of running an awesome lap time. So navigation is part of racing, as far as navigating through other racers. So, but how do you get fast? Well, besides practice, during practice you're going to learn some things like how to take the curves, use all of the track, carry as much speed as you can through the corners. Learn your car, learn what gear to be in each corner, things like that. When I was being taught how to be fast on a motorcycle from professional racers, it was all about corner speed and straight line through the curve. So right here, straight line through the curve, straight as you possibly can, always on the gas there through that whole curve, utilizing the whole track, carrying it all the way out. Not carrying it, not driving out there yourself. The car is actually drifting all the way out there based on how fast you're going. Excuse me. So, like here, learning how to make the turn ahead of time. So I'm already on the gas because I know where the second curve is right there, the downhill. I set up for that turn before turning in the first part of that entry point. So things like that. You are turning 2 curves ahead. Now there, I downshifted too early. I have that problem sometimes. Learning the vehicle. What did I say? Downshifting. Carrying speed right here. Carrying more speed through there. Just trusting the tires. Went off a little bit, but I was able to catch them right. But that's an example of I carried more speed through that corner than this guy right here in front of me. Now, professional racers, obviously in sim racing, you don't have the luxury of feeling all the G-forces and stuff like that. You have to just use the cues of what you're seeing and then what you're feeling in your hardware that you're using. But utilizing the whole track is pretty easy with enough practice. Sorry, bud. You're just in the way. Move. But let's just break down this lap here. So I'm carrying as much speed as I can here. Braking at 2, just a little bit. Just tapping the brake for a turn in. Missed my apex a little bit, but that's okay. But you make up time each corner. You don't try to be the fastest through one corner to make up the time lost through the whole track session, right? So each corner, each lap, you try to build and be just a little bit quicker. In some corners you'll learn that I can't be no quicker through that corner, and you know what? Good, you mastered it for your particular skill level at that time. Eventually, your slow or your fast will be slow to you. More track time, more seat time that you have. It's just how it is. Carry more, because you'll learn how to carry more speed. You'll learn a little bit better setups for your vehicle after you've learned your vehicle. So, you know, real world racers, they have just one vehicle that they're racing, right? And they have, you know, a host of people in the garage to do all the tuning for them, suspension tuning for them. Hey, this thing's pushing, or I'm getting loose, you know, fix it, kind of thing. Well, you are the pit crew here in sim racing, so you got to learn it all yourself. Although the race engineer kind of helps you in this one, which I have a video out on that as well. But you can see through this whole lap as I'm talking, I'm hitting the apex as best I can. Now, I'm not perfect, but I'm able to gain position. See, like that one, I blew that apex. I should have slowed down a little bit more. I carried too much speed through that corner, right? So that's an example of carrying enough speed, but I was about a foot off my race line, and that made a difference. That slowed me down. But I was able to make it up in another corner, only because the particular person in front of me may have been weak in that corner. Like this corner, I usually find the AI a little weak as far as getting on the throttle quick enough. And then through here too, they didn't take it wide enough, and then, well, he did. He did it perfectly right there. Oh yeah, that's a good run right there. Nice. Alright, getting sidetracked. Love racing. But hopefully I'm not repeating myself here. Those little red divots there on Lisa Laguna, that's where you want to have your tire over. Not all tracks have those, but I mean, it does kind of clearly show you the apex, and that's why I picked this track, because it's a little bit easier to teach on. So again, on the brake, turn in wide, back on the gas, turn in again, carrying as much speed as I can, carrying all the way out the edge of the track, come on in, hit across that red divot, and let the car carry all the way out to the edge of the track. I'm not driving out there. Still just kind of feathering the gas, back on the gas, just to make the turn in, right? Back on the gas, of course. You're on the gas as long as possible. Either on the gas or you're on the brake. That's the only two choices. You don't coast to be fast. See, coming up this hill here, it's a blind turn in, round 2, downshift. I didn't need a downshift, she just left it up. See, that's the thing you learn. You learn, okay, that corner in this particular car, if I hit that race line, I shouldn't have downshifted. Back on the gas, shooting straight as I can through there, coming back down the hill. Going wide so I can make this turn as straight as possible, clipping that apex, carrying out to the edge of the track. Sets me up for this other corner, right? Clip the apex again, carrying out the edge of the track. You'll notice you get a rhythm, and when you get that rhythm, it feels effing awesome. Because it's just a rhythm through the track. You're hitting the apexes perfectly. You're just swinging the car out to one edge of the track to the other edge of the track. It just feels amazing. And then your lap times will start, you know, showing that. But pick AI when you're out on the track to race with, because you'll learn how to take different lines, and which is good, because you're not always going to have the perfect race line, and you're going to have to learn different lines to be fast. And there are different lines to be fast on as well. So depending on your speed of entry point into that curve. See, I had a great drive up on this guy. Now I'm not my perfect line, so I'm basically blocking him went a little bit wide because I couldn't start my descent through that apex at the corner of the track where I really wanted to be, like I could right there, right? So, and I learned from last lap, don't downshift, just carry the speed in there as much as I could. That's what I did. Look, past the guy. Now, as far as equipment goes, you can be just as fast on a G25 as you could a direct drive wheel. It's not a end-all be-all. You don't have to have the best equipment to be fast. What you have to be is consistent with the equipment you have. Now, there are some helpers. I mean, you have load cell pedals. That helps you out a lot because it's a lot of muscle memory like it is in a real car as opposed to like a pitchometer pedal. That actually helps tremendously. It's almost like you're cheating against someone else that has pitchometer pedals because you're able to keep a certain pressure a lot easier of braking instead of doing the panic braking with pitchometer pedals. It's just repeatability, muscle memory works way better with low cell pedals. So I'd suggest pedals as an upgrade. But as far as wheels, I mean, I have my cousin's son. He just won 10 grand on iRacing. He's using a G25. I mean, one of the best out there with a freaking G25. I mean, it's possible. You don't have to have direct drive, but you know, there's also that thing called talent, and you either got the talent or you don't, or you got to develop the talent. You can develop it. Some racing to some people comes very easy because they got a lot more talent than you. But if you enjoy racing, you have an ooh, that guy tapped me. If you enjoy racing, it's worth taking the time to learn the tracks, learn your car, get into setups a little bit, start tweaking little things here and there, and start off with a cheap set of wheel and pedals, and then move on up. But what you'll get also out of a higher end wheel setup, so like this Fanatec V2, and I'm not just trying to pitch them or anything, but you feel more in the wheel, more feedback to you, just like a direct drive wheel will give you more feedback. So when you're braking and wondering why you're skipping the tires, and say like a G25, G27 wheel setup, well, that one may not relay correctly to you that you're skipping your tires over some bumps on the track, whereas the Clubsport series is relaying that information to you. So then you know, okay, I better start my braking before that bump so I don't skip my tires, you know. So that's just learning the track, and a lot of these tracks are laser scanned as well. I don't recall if this one is here, but yeah. So yeah, that's another instance there. You know, equipment, but the main thing to be fast is corner entry, figuring out your turn, your curve, you know, at least a curve ahead, and knowing your vehicle and utilizing the whole track. You know what? There's a whole slew of shit to learn, right? So those are just some key points that I've learned through the years of racing around. Oh, and try not to turn multiple times like I just did there. If you're preparing for your turn enough, you don't have to turn multiple times. Now, as your tires start wearing, you may find that you're sliding around and you're having to do some small corrections and stuff, and that's okay. That's just part of tire wear. But yeah, try to make smooth precision driving. So anyway, hopefully this is helpful to some of y'all newcomers. Obviously, you know, the aliens or the really fast people out there already know this type of information, so I kind of like to help out new sim racers get into this hobby more and enjoy it as much as I do. But if you got something out of the vehicle, or if you have some points that I may have missed, you know, share them in the comments below so everybody can learn and have fun out there. So until next time, see you on the track. I'm out.